Hi, Internet viewers. Frank Rauscher. We're back on the sandpiper. We got the tail brought out. We got the underneath side of the tail in a concave fashion there. And then we had a two-tier staging of the rump. We came in about 3/4 of an inch and then 5/8. And we had a crease in here from the beginning that came around and turned right in here. And that's like the secondary stage, and this is the primary stage of the rump. And we rounded that off. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to texture the tail, and we're also going to start texturing the head. So, well, let's see how far we get. There needs to be some work on the underneath side of the wings so we can get as if there's a lift in there. And we want to dress out the tail so that we don't have to go in and burn and then have to reburn after we take some material out. So bear with me on this, and I will show you how we do this. And hope you're following along. I hope it's interesting to you. It's an interesting bird, it really is. And I'm going to show you different setups that I have done with this bird originally. And I'll give you some ideas on that. And likewise, if anybody wants to try this project, I do have kits available, or patterns. You can make your own blanks that way. But in the kit, you have the pattern, the blank, the feet and the eyes. Everything's there. All you do is follow along. And if you need some bits, I have them as well. So we could take care of you and get you there if that's what you need. So and I have other equipment that I sell as well. So I can always send you out a catalog, and if you need it, again, you write to me, and that's to my what's the name, internet address, and it's Rauscher, R-A-U-S, I should say email address, excuse me. It's Rauscher, R-A-U-S-C-H-E-R, Frank, F-R-A-N-K, 7@gmail.com. And what you could do, if you write to me, I can email you my catalog out, and you can take a look and see what I have available and pricing and what have you, and go from there. And then hopefully of what you may want to pick as kits, because I got all kinds of kits to make up for a lot of different birds and animals and what have you. So just contact me and we'll see what we can do. And if you need some advice, you know, my telephone number is on my catalog. You can call me. Gladly try to help you out wherever you need it. So bear with me, and we are going to go on and try to get this sandpiper flying, okay? So here we go. Okay, what I want to do now, before we get too far afield, if I lay my pencil line down here, this is where the wing, the under part of the wing where it steps back here. Remember, we undercut this, and then we rounded this over. Well, this needs to be somewhat as a slot in there, like it's concave a little bit inside of that feather line, all the way on up to where we get some lift between the primaries and the tail feathers. And we're going to do that on both sides. So I put a pencil line in at the bottom here so I could see where we're at. And I'm going to bring that down here. And watch me, I'm going to follow that. Now, I put my optivisor on, which you normally don't see. I'm using a bullet shape diamond. And what I'm going to do, just to show you, and I noticed I didn't burn this last feather here, so we still got that to do, but that's okay. There's that pencil line, on the underneath side of the bird. And I'm going to lay this right on the pencil line. And I'm not going in that too deep here. I'm really not. I'm going in not quite at 16th. And what I'm doing is I'm trying not to reduce the feather. I'm actually going underneath the feather. And I'm going to bring that up. Follow my pencil line right on up so that the edge of the feathers start to lift a little bit from the tail. I don't know if you can see that too well, but I'm going to come in here and thin this out on the other side. These are like cups in there, and that's what's happening here. This is going under the edge here, and I will have to dress out the rump here a little bit, but I'm going to do this right on across. I'm getting the point of my bit under there so that there's a lift in there. Then I'm going to come on this side and do the same thing. Now, here's the other side. I'm going to lay the bit right up under there. I'm not trying to make the wing feathers small at all. I'm staying underneath that pencil line. And that's coming up. And it gives separation, which you could see from the tail to the primaries. And I clean that out a little bit, like this. Okay? Now, what you end up when you run a channel like that, you have an edge on this side and you have an edge on this side. So let me show you what you do there. I'm going to get a regular pencil because my mechanical pencil, it's easier to get the lead going here. You can see my pencil line was in here before, but this is the other edge of the channel right here, and it comes right on up. And I'll do it on the other side here too. Here it is right here. Hope you can see that. And then it comes up this way through here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get rid of you could do it with a flame, a ruby flame, a diamond flame, or a bullet shape. Okay, any one of those will do it for you. Now I'm going to go back to my pear because this is a nice rounding tool. And I like this, and it's the ruby, and it's very forgiving. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to blend this back into the breast area here, and get rid of that whole channel edge that I had in there. I know it's probably hard to see. I tried to, and you want to roll it so you don't have any edges in here. Now, I'm probably going to have to go back to the bullet for the feathers on the tail. And I'll show you what I mean. Here's the edge I'm trying to get rid of. So I'm going to come in here and come right up under there and then round this over. Yeah, this wood had some darker areas in it, which is unusual for basswood, but it happens. Not a big deal. I hope that's not confusing you. What I'm basically doing is coming out of the bottom of that valley and rounding this over, okay? You try not to get any edges in there. Now, excuse me. for these feathers that I just trimmed back as I made this pass up through here, I got to send these feathers back to where they look like they're going right underneath the wing here, like so. I hope you can see this. And it's very obvious on the camera, I hope. I'm going to come in here, send that line back, and that line back, that one back, that one, and that one. Okay? Now, I'm going to come in and clean up a little bit of the edging when I came through there. Just going to smooth that out on maybe the top tail or the tail down, or the feather down from the top. So I'm coming in here, just a light touch. Remember, we undercutted those feathers already. I'm just trying to make them look like they're going straight back into the body. And I don't want any cuts or anything else like that. So that should do it, okay? That happens pretty fast. Now I'm going to bring my cradle in again. Now, here's what I'm going to do. The only feather that's going to see a quill is the top feather. All the rest are going to be hidden. And then I'm going to 45 out this way and 45 out this way. And I'm going to do 45 and all the way down. All these are going to be 45 this way, and all these are going to be 45 in this way. So here we go. I get my burning unit. First thing I want to put in is my quill. So I get that, put it right on the line, bring that right down. Now, in this case, I'm not doing an outside burn in. I'm doing just a straight burn back, okay, from the quill out. Let me just lower this just a hair. Getting a darker burn than I want. So here we go. So I'm coming in here. Then I keep in the same direction for each one as I go down. Right on back to where it looks like it's going right into the body. And that's what you need to do. You want to make sure you're getting every little nook and cranny burned in there. Okay, and we'll do the other side. Normally I'd say you guys do that, but I'm going to just show it to you. So you can get the full treatment here of how I burn. And you want to keep your line work pretty close together. Okay, you don't want to get too far. And it takes practice sometimes to get it just right. So if you're doing it for the first time, you'll find that the more you do, the better you get. And that's been my approach to this along the way here. Okay, now we got the top done. Now we're going to go to the bottom. So I'm going to put my pen back. Now here's what we have here. This feather comes around. We have a quill coming down here. The quill, well, let me get this mechanical pencil. It has a finer point. Run that one down. I may have to burn this in a little bit more. I'm putting a quill on each one. Okay, now we'll go back. And I'm going to burn the quills in. So each feather has a quill. Not all of it's exposed though. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the center one. And then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and we already have the center. Now, again, I'm going to burn from the inside out. And because they're concave, I tilt my piece a little bit so that it's burning right up to the outside edge. And it's all on a 45-degree angle. Then I'll do the next one. And the next one, all on this one side. Next feather. And the center feather. Okay. Now, I'll do the second half of the feather. Get my cord up out of the way. So, I'm doing 45. Do the next one down. These are real tiny, so you gotta take your time. Hope you can see it well. I don't know how well these are picking it up, but they're real in tight. And I go all the way up to the rump and come down to the quill here, and then they're all 45 in the same direction. Okay. And then I got half of one. So I go to this side now. Now, for this side, I'm going to do the inside first. So I'm going to come on a 45-degree angle. Stroke my lines right on up to the rump. And I do the next feather down. You want to get your point in there doing this. And you want to make sure that you're not going past the quill. The quill is your stop. Okay. And then we'll do the outside ones. Okay. Then the next one. Next one. And one to go. Okay. Now we got the tail done. Okay. Now we're going to graduate. And we got most of the feathers in the wing area and the tail done. Okay. Now, what I want to do is start you on the head, and I'm going to show you how to approach that. You have a center line that's coming right down the middle of the head. Remember, that was our main center line. Now, I'm going to come off about maybe a 1/16 from here, and I'm going to flare back. Notice I'm getting a little wider as I come back, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm trying to make these equal. So about the whole thing is about maybe 1/8 of an inch overall, not counting the center line, okay, between here and here. Then the next group, I want to come down a little more than a 16th, come up. I'm keeping about an 1/8 inch spread between, roughly, and bring that down. Then I want to come down a little bit more than a 16th down to here. I want to make sure I'm above the eye here and still maintaining roughly about an 1/8 of an inch, give or take a little bit, and come down like this. Okay, now we have a center line for the eye, but this is going to roll down about the same spacing. It's a little more than a 16th, and that's coming through. This is where that cheek came around and slid right in. Here's the cheek right here. I'll draw that for you. I want to come back with my line work like this. Okay, I just continued that on out to here. Now I'm going to just come just below the eye, same spacing again as I did these up here, and this should be just almost to the bottom of the eye, not quite. It's an arcing this way, and then we're going to come down a little bit more again, and we're going to arc this way, and then this will be our last row right in here. That'll be the edge of where the the cheek is. Okay, now I'm going to do half of this. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. You know, you're going to come an 1/8 of an inch or 1/16 or so better, and then an 1/8 in between here, and stop right here. Then you come through here, and you're above the eye about almost an 1/8 of an inch, and you're coming around, and then you can have right through the eye, coming back here, and this is where that cheek line comes all the way around, comes around this way. You're shooting off like this, okay, with these lines, and then you come down a little more than the 16th, stay just below the eye, and it curves this way, and then this one's going to come this way, a little more than the 16th, and turn this way. Okay, so it looks like a zebra in a way. Now here's what I want to do. See all these little scallop feathers in here? I'm going to draw them in. So here we go. On the center one, I'm going to come in about so big, and that'll be the first one. Then the second one will get a little bit bigger, and then a little bit bigger, and it's going, the center line's going right through the feather, okay? I just want you to draw from one side to the other. That's the full width of the feather, from one side to the other. And we'll get it a little bigger. They're starting to graduate back, okay? And they get a little bit bigger on each one. And they get just a hair longer on each one. So you can see them like increasing as we come back. And then I'll put one more in right there, okay? So that's the first row. I'm going to ask you to do this on this side, but I'm going to do just one side so you can see it, okay? So we could expedite time. I'm putting in a smaller one, shorter than the fullness of this one. Then I'm just going to increase as I come back. I'm not trying to make these look like loop to loop to loop right across. No, it's how they work their way in. I want it. It doesn't have to match up with the row that's on the other side. In fact, you don't want to do that. You want to stagger, if anything. And I increase it as I come back. And there's my second row. Then I'll do my third row down here. And this distance isn't really that much. There's 2, there's 3. They get a little longer and a little wider as they come back. And there. It takes a little practice to get these just right. Then I'll put another one here, here. That's going to go around through the hole. This will come right through there. I'm drawing them like there is material there, even if there isn't for the hole, for the eye hole, I should say. Okay, so I'll make it look simple, and you do have it on the pattern if you need to see an example besides mine. And then we start on the next row. So I'm going to come around here. 1, 2, 3. Skip that. We'll go to the back of it. 4, 5, and then there'll be a little one back here. Then we got another one here. 1, 2, and they're like elongated too. If I can, they're not quite pointed, but they're almost pointed. They're like shaped long and narrow and coming around. And like I said, you may have to practice this on a piece of paper. And some of you may get it right off too. And I'm trying to stay within the framework of my cheek down here, okay? So I'm going to ask you to do the same thing on that side, but I'm going to show you how to handle this now. I am using, you can use the P12S or the P12 or the P5. This is Optimus pens, and that's what I like to use. So I'm going to come in now, and I'm going to start right up by the beak here, not on the beak, but I'm going to burn right down the center line, and I'm flaring to the left all along the beak, and I'm flaring to the right all along the beak. Then I come back, and I just want to push in on that leading edge in front there. And I lift as I come out. It takes a little practice. Say I stab it. What I'm doing is, the hottest part of the tip is depressing the area of the back of the feather that's in front. And these all look like they're going to be raised when they're not. It's the technique for doing soft feathers without lifting them. And like we lifted these back here, but we're not going to do that up on the head. We want a softer look. So I punch it in, drag it out, and follow that whole back edge. It flares out this way and it flares out this way. And you want to get in a comfortable position so that you can get the same effect each time. Okay. And like I said, for those who are just doing this for the first time, you may want to get a board. I think I have some here where I made larger ones and then practice on a board before I want to hear. But I've done this so often, I'm sort of over that stage. But in the beginning, I wasn't. Trust me. I had to practice. So here we go. One. And I try to keep them tight together, but flared out. Okay? It's like a fan effect. We come down the middle, go out to the right, and go out to the left with a fan effect, all along that leading edge that's in front of it. And if you miss a spot, just go back into it. That's all, as long as you're keeping the same direction of the burn. And it gets to look kind of neat after a while. And especially with the patterning we're doing for the painting, this will really help out. And I use this technique a lot with a lot of birds. Oh, God. Been doing this forever. And it's a neat way when you're priming the bird with white that you could let these feathers go through. In this case here, we're going to put a lot more coloring in. And it's not going to be, it's going to be prominent. But on other cases, like the goldfinch, it's all yellow head. And this shadowing effect that goes on here gets into the wood, and it gets ghosted. We put a lot of white on top and then the yellow, and you could just about see the feathers underneath, and that's what we wanted for the goldfinch. But in this case here, it's different. So here we go. It's right up against the beak without going onto the beak. And I'm flaring to the right and to the left. And the real tiny ones, you can't do too much to it, but just follow the feather line. And you try to get as best you can with these, okay? And it's not like I'm trying to drag this whole, if you notice, it's light in the back, but by flickering it up, it still textures it. There's texture in the back side here, but it's not burnt like it is in the front end, which is really depressing the area. It's a technique that works well. At least I think it does. And, you know, other people may have other opinions on how to do this, but this is mine, okay? I think they really come out kind of cool. But I'm teaching you my technique, and maybe there's a friend of yours that does it kind of neat too. Learn from him, and if you have somebody that teaches in your area, hey, if he's a good carver, learn as much as you can from him too. Everybody's technique is maybe a little different, nothing wrong with it, but you can come up and develop your own style of doing it, okay? Now there's 2 rows done, so let's go for the rest of them here, okay? I'm gonna come down here. And what I'm doing is I'm picking the middle of the feather for my first stroke, and then I flare out. These real tiny ones in the front, you can't do too much to, but as they get bigger, you have they get more defined, and you have a chance to get the burn back in there, and it gives you more definition on the feather. And I like this technique for certain areas, for certain birds, you know, to do, especially in the head area. And when you're putting these feathers in pencil-wise, you know, you try to increase as you come back, but it doesn't have to be super duper big. It really doesn't. And for those who have the patterns, you know, look at that, because that'll give you, the patterns are usually to scale, so you can pretty much copy them and be in the right stage of how to. Okay, here we go. We're moving our way down. Now what I'm trying to do, where the feathers have a little lift in the front, I'm trying to depress that lip so it's a softer lip than it was originally. Then coming back. Now around the eye, you're just going to add like just a little bit. You're sort of faking it, as if you have the full eye there. I mean the full feather there. You do have a full eye. Don't mind me. And like I said, you're stroking down the middle, then you're fanning to the left, and you're burning the leading edge in front of this front feather in front of it. And I'm lifting, so I'm not trying to cover or drag the whole thing all the way down to the end of what would be the feather outline. Sort of takes care of itself. If you look real close, they're burnt on the end, but not dark. And that flick up still textures the back end of these feathers. Now I'm going to come in here. These tiny ones, you're just about depressing the whole thing, it seems like. Here's where you got to get the tip of the pen up a little higher. Then here I'm going to make it so it comes around. Give it a little bit of texturing like that. Then we come back here. And here. Now, there's 4 rows done. We got 2 to go and we're done. For one side, that is. Okay. Make sure you don't drag all the way down like I almost did in that first feather there. You put it down, you lift as you come out. You're not trying to burn the whole feather with one stroke. Absolutely, it's a push in and lift out. And it takes a little bit of practice. Okay. And I may make it look easy. I'll tell you that, because when I did this in the beginning, it wasn't easy for me, but I learned. And that's the trick of it. Okay, we're down to 1 on this one side. Now, I hope you guys are liking this bird. It's I think it's a kind of a neat bird. It's got a lot of different patterning in it. even for the painting, as well as how we treat this. But I'm trying to give you different varieties of how we treat a bird in a certain area. Most of the time, all the top feathers, like for the head and so on, I'll burn it to get a soft look. In the breast area, sometimes I'll make it look a little rougher. That's just me, but birds are smooth as can be, though, to be honest with you. But there we go. Now there's half of the bird done already, okay? So what I'm going to ask you to do is do the exact same thing on this side. And you're getting those, like I said, the scalp feathers. I'll start one more in here. Here's that row off the top one. And you're starting out with something about so big. Then you come back a little bit bigger. They're like elongated, okay? And then back, and they get gradually a little bigger on each one as you come back. And if you have to erase out to get the, the proper look, go ahead and do that. Don't worry about that. Nothing wrong with that. Okay? And don't make them so that they all end up with the same loops ending, that you can stagger them, and that would look better. So I'm going to ask you if you could do this head portion here on both sides and get that finished, and the tail and the underneath side of the tail here. And if you could do that, that'll be great. And then what we're going to do is move on. We'll start doing the mantle, and we're going to actually lift some of the breast feathers, okay? So we want to get, we did a little bit in here when we first put these in, because we want these feathers to look like they're laying on top of these. So hang in there. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I'd ask you to give me a thumbs up. And if you could subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate that greatly. I'm trying to grow the channel. Also, if you have friends that may be interested and want to try these, I'd appreciate that greatly, because that really helps on my count and everything else. And one other thing, I have rotary brushes. They're horsehair, but if you don't have that, let me see if I have something around here. I'm going to show you. You can get an old toothbrush. And a lot of these feathers, from the way we undercut stuff and get dust around, you could do this, and look how bright they come again. Okay, so, and this is something we definitely have to do before we start painting and we get all the dust out. So I just want to let you know there's ways of cleaning this up, but you can see how bright they are when we first burn them. Okay, so hang in there, and we're going to start. I think maybe what we'll do is we'll refine the beak just a little bit more on the next video, and then we'll start coming down into the breast area. But I'm going to ask you to do this side on your own here, okay? And appreciate you following me and hanging in there. So, and if you ever need anything, if you could, you can go to the comment section of my video and leave your email address there. I could send you out a catalog, or you could get my email address there and ask for a catalog, I should say, and I'll send one out to you through the email. And if you need anything, or kits or anything like that, I could take care of you. My email address, by the way, is Rauscher, RAUSCHER, Frank, FRANK, 7@gmail.com. So hope to see you guys on the next video. Hope you enjoyed, got something out of this one. Just remember, I still have to do this last feather here. I say that I missed this one right here, but we have that cupping going on in there. And you do that with, it could be a variety of bits. It could be a diamond bit, hogging bit, not hogging, the diamond bullet, or the flame, both ruby or diamond could get you there, okay? So march on, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye now.